everyone, Ashley Jones here, Event Director at Marketing Showcase. Thank you so much for joining us for our October online event and our 5th webinar of today. I was kind of losing track there after they've come so thick and fast, but I hope you're enjoying today and so pleased you could join us for our 5th webinar, which is presented by Adam Oldfield from Force 24. It's a good one. He's a repeat speaker. We keep having him back because he's so good and we get such a good response from it. So I'm looking forward to what he has to speak about today. Don't want to teach you all to suck eggs, but I've gone through it a few times. But for any newbies that are watching this presentation for the first time today, I just want to show you how we're using Zoom. So you've got the chat function, which will be used to talk throughout the presentation. I know Adam likes to engage with his audience, so if you can just have that up ready to reply, that'd be great. You've also got the Q&A function, which is any questions that you want to ask him at the end of his presentation about his content. So just waiting for a few of the last few people to join, and welcome if you're just joining me now. It looks like most people are joined now, so I think I'm going to hand over to Adam Oldfield from Force 24 to get on with his presentation.
Thank you very much, Ash. Much appreciated.
Cheers, Adam. Enjoy.
Thanks. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. So I've got the afternoon slot. Let me share my screen and get the show on the road. Right, okay, so as Ashley says, I do like to try and engage the audience wherever I can, but I'll let you know.
Interrupt just before you do, you're sharing your Zoom screen. I want to see your PowerPoint, please.
God, you're there.
That's all right. No, I'm just trying to test your abilities.
Okay, I'm a little bit, okay, that might have got me foxed. It's a good start. Share screen. Okay, try again.
Thanks, that's perfect.
Yeah, awesome. Can I have an extra minute on the end? Anyway, right. I do like to try and engage the audience. I try not to get it that wrong very often. So what we've done, this is really hard. The guys at Marketing Showcase have set us a real difficult challenge, and that's we've got to create different decks. So this is the first time I've presented this deck. And whilst I do agree with the messages and I get the points, what you've got to bear in mind is sometimes my delivery might be a bit shaky, but I usually think the content is good. It's good, strong, solid content. So what we did was we created 4 steps that we believe are going to make you save time, win more customers, and be more relevant. You know, who doesn't want to listen to that, especially if it's only 4 simple steps? So let's crack on. How do I do this on PowerPoint? I click next. That's what I do. So first of all, my name's Adam. I'm the Managing Director of Force 24. We've been going since 2010. We're one of the fastest growing UK automation platforms. We're very of the moment because I don't know whether you know, but the US and the EU trade war saw the European Court of Justice throw out the Privacy Shield arrangement recently, which means that it's now technically illegal for you. There's no legal framework for you to share data with North America, MailChimp, etc., HubSpot, whoever it may be. So that means people are flooding to UK products, or certainly European products. So really, really interesting time for us at the moment, and I hope that you're paying attention to what's going on in that direction. We're doing lots of webinars to help you on that. If anybody's interested, go to force24.co.uk and you'll be able to find out more about it. So quick heads up, my approach is always to offer advice, and some of you may have seen certain bits of these slides before, but there's certain persistent messages I want to take away. And my other piece of advice is, you know, just take one thing. There might be one thing, there might be 2 things, but there's not 100 things that you're going to take from this talk. In amongst all of my waffle and shouty and jumpy aroundness, you will find 1 or 2 things that I absolutely want you to take. And that's my objective for today. So it's how I try and deliver that in the best possible way for you guys. So the other thing to note is, obviously, I'm stood here. I'm a vendor. You know, we sell stuff, okay? So we pay to be a part of this, and we pay to come in and talk to it. So that, you know, you got to understand that to grease those wheels, that we're going to sell some stuff. So, but I try to limit that and try to make sure that you don't feel like this is just a pitch, because it really isn't. It's me trying to give you some advice. I'm not actually on the sales team. And the other thing that I want you to take note of is it's not just email, by the way, but that's what we're really good at. So that's the bit that I like to talk about the most. Now, so when I just demonstrate a principle to you, what I want you to take away from that principle is, how do I use that elsewhere? So I'm really going to town on it in email, but I want you to sort of see where you go beyond that for paid ads, for SEO, for whatever it is that you're working on. How can I use that principle to make that bit better as well. So I talk about email, but it's not all about email. So I've got a quick question for you. If you wouldn't mind indulging me, would you answer, who's having a nice day so far? There's a chat function. Anybody wants to type anything in there? Just that would be lovely if anybody could do that. That'd be great. But don't stress about it. Before we get going, what I also want to do is I always talk about my ground rules. And my ground rules are what you as a marketeer need to become if you're going to be able to compete in the world today against energetic and empathetic marketeers. So the first thing is I always talk about the ground rules. Firstly, I've got to become energized and passionate. Is anybody typing anything? I don't even know if anybody's typing anything in. That's fine. I have to become energized and passionate. So if I'm a marketeer and I'm a bit downtrodden and I'm not really all that passionate and energized, I have to be. But I have to be so with a dose of empathy. Empathy means that I understand what other people like. You know, you give the people what they want. That's the whole point. And you're able to get people excited. I have to listen to the sales team and I have to talk to customers. So if I'm not doing that now, if I'm not energized, if I'm not passionate, if I'm not talking to customers, I'm not talking to sales, I'm not understanding the wider business, I'm not performing at my optimum. And that's fine. That's cool. That's fine because we get in those places. But sometimes I've got to pick myself up and be a man or woman that I want to be. Second thing is do not stand for second best. I cannot stand this. We've got to be more Gordon Ramsay. This is one of my bugbears in any marketing department, is where you have a marketeer that is openly accepting that something that they're doing is not as good as it could be. Now, Gordon Ramsay would not have survived. Well, he nearly didn't at one point, but he would not have got to where if he did that, if he allowed that through. We know if we were on stage, we as marketeers, pretend I'm a comedian on stage. We as marketeers, we operate just the same as a comedian on stage. Comedian on stage is probably talking to 1,000 people, 10,000, whatever. But as a marketeer, I'm telling my jokes and I'm telling my story to potentially hundreds of thousands of people a month. But I'm hiding behind a curtain. And if I'm putting my jokes out there as a marketer, as a comedian on stage where anything is less than second best, I would just die 1,000 deaths up there on stage. But as a marketeer, we talk to more people, we get more attention, and we have to be more Gordon Ramsay. If we're not, who is our brand? What is our brand? Squint test. I love this. I invented this thing, and I think I invented it. I'm going to show you it in a moment. And the squint test is, whenever you're appraising anything that you've done, you have to sit back in your chair, look at it, and squint. And I'm going to show you how that works in a moment. And that says, if you get it, if what I've done, it's a paid ad, it's pretend it's an email, whatever it is, a landing page, whatever it is, sit back in the chair, look at it on screen, squint, right back here like that, squint. If the words jump out and smack me around the face, nailed it. If they don't, back to the drawing board, let's do it again. Let's get it right, because that's what we've got to do. Squint test, don't stand for second best, maintain high standards, be more Gordon Ramsay. But the real one is I want everybody to recognize who they are. I make the difference. I am the glue, I am the magic, and I am the energy. This is you. Not all organizations yet recognize that they are marketing led. Not all, but they will be, because the tide has turned. Marketeers are now the voice of the organization. 100 years ago, people went to the high street for a cobbler or a baker or a candlestick maker or whatever. That doesn't exist now. Some industries are still stuck back in that long way back where we just get phone calls and people buy stuff from us. That's not how it's going to be. Competition drives that away, and marketeers are the key. So why is this webinar so important? So here's why I think this is so important. Now, we as marketeers constantly need to innovate. We need to improve. We need to do more for less. Targets are going up. Budgets are kind of like, well, they're a bit woolly. We don't know how much money we've got to spend, or maybe we've got money, but it's not gone up from last year, but targets have gone up. So I've got to do more with less. Cool, no problem. We're expected to know how to do it all. We just know how to do stuff, which is amazing. I know how to do SEO. I've got a clue. You know, I'm just expected to know how to do all of this stuff. And I'm also told to jump when I'm told to jump, without anywhere near enough hours in the day. But the simple fact of the matter is that is systematic of the world that we're living in right now. We've got to move people to the new world, and we do that by embodying certain principles ourselves. So here's my advice. The first one, it's 4 steps. So the first one is step 1, how to save time. And this is big because this is what we're all about. It's about saving time. By the way, on our thing, somewhere above, I think, oh, here it is, here. We've got a little mantra. Free training and support for life on a 2-minute SLA. Saving time is about knowing stuff. It's about, you ask the right man the right question at the right time, I'll give you an answer like that. The wrong man, the wrong time, the wrong question, you'll be waiting for months. And this is the point. So it's about, we've got to get efficient and we've got to save time. So one of the things that we do is we say creative commodification. Oh my God, that's the geekiest sentence ever. Creative commodification. What the hell does that even mean? Well, actually, it's really important. And what it is, it's essentially the process of commoditizing. The word is actually commodifying the emails or the templates that I produce. So if it's a paid ad, if it's whatever it is, remember I'm talking about everything. I'm going to focus on email. I've got to commodify it. And what I mean by that, well, I have to rationalize everything. Microsoft's view is that my emails should contain one button, just one, and they should have no more than 10 words to support that button. Now, I'm not saying you've got to go away and you've got to do that, but I've got to say that you've got to know where you sit on that scale. So where am I and where is the advice? Lots of things that Microsoft say that are a bit scary. It's not scary, but shocking really, but I'll go through, I'll pick them out. So rationalize and aim for 10 words. Not always possible, doesn't matter, but I'm going to show you some examples in a moment where you can do that. Say one thing and say it well. Now, what I often see when I see marketeers on an email specifically, we're trying to ram messages in there left, right, and center because there's lots of different things. There's lots of news articles. There's lots of, say one thing. I would rather that we communicated on a higher cadence. I'll come on to that in a moment. Higher cadence, i.e. more frequently, and said more simple, more rationalized things. Okay, unless you're a fashion retailer and it's about inspiration and I don't mind scrolling, fine. But if I've got one thing to say, it's going to perform better than saying 10 things. That's my point. Okay, simple, single, clear calls to action. This is key. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you've got an advert, paid ad, it's always going to have one button and it's always going to be simple. Why is email any different than that? Email, you interrupt my day. You as marketers, you interrupt my day. So you've got to be good. I've not asked you for it. I've not said send me an email now. I might have done, but probably haven't. So you've got to keep it simple and clear. And the final point, keep it simple. Keep it simple. Now, let's have a look at that. I want to show you. So this is some examples of what we do. And this is how we do it. And like I say, Microsoft say 10 words, and we just know where we are on the scale. That's the only difference. We're on a scale. And so here we go. What we've done is we've said, okay, so we've got one button always. And what I want you to see here is that it's essentially the same email. We've gone with a single column, except for these reviews, granted, I apologize. We've gone with a single column. We've gone with just a few words above the CTA. And really, all of this is just ballast. It doesn't need to exist. So if we're spending time as marketeers over-engineering these layouts below that CTA, recognize it's just ballast and it's not going to improve things. We have this concept of what we call a trampoline. And a trampoline is below the magic, the trampoline image bounces them back to the CTA. So in Google, people go down, not back up. That's just how it works. So in email, it's exactly the same. So we go down. I need something to be like, no, it's reached the bottom, back up. That's how I do it. So by giving me no ambiguity, no reason to think, where should I go here? What are you trying to sell to me? It's make it simple. So we're all about, like I say, try and aim for 10 words. For me, I would love to have this slide to have been more rationalized emails where we've just ditched all of this. Okay, we've got legal stuff at the bottom. We've got to have that, but that is what it is. So commodification. And why would I do that? Oh, sorry. Oh, we've got another thing. We componentize, sorry. So by the way, these are components, okay? So what we've done is we've said, look, you know what? I don't want to build, that's the same component as that. It's just got different pictures in it. So if I just click this button now, this is a bit of a sales pitch, but hey, what the heck? So what we did is we built this thing where you can build out assets and you drag and drop them on. Yeah, you can build it like MailChimp where you sort of, you kind of, build it with standard items, but I'd rather that you build stuff, save it, reuse it, do it again, do it again, do it again. So that way you're able to do this build these high quality, highly responsive emails, but I've got an objective. And my objective is to build any one of these emails within 5 minutes. That's the key, within 5 minutes. So that's cool. How do I press the next button? There we go. And when I am doing this, even though I'm spending 5 minutes, what I'm asking you to do is not spend 5 minutes creating great words. No. I'm saying that most people report that it takes about 45 minutes on MailChimp to build an email. Of that, actually, some of that is writing the right words. And I'm saying, actually, 45 minutes, you should spend an hour writing great content. You should spend all day writing great content, because that's what, as marketeers, we're good at. That's what we got into this game for. But as a marketeer, if it takes me longer than 5 minutes to put that content down, it's wrong. It's over-engineered. The recipient isn't going to appreciate this. Be more Gordon. Don't stand for the artwork you're not proud of. Why put it out there if I'm not proud of it? It's really important. And don't forget the squint test. So we mentioned the squint test before. I'm going to run that squint test now. I'm going to simulate that squint test now. If you can read that in that squinted view, you've done the job. It's like I say, actually, I'd get rid of everything below here personally, or I'd definitely get rid of those reviews. And I'd really, really simplify it. But know where we are on the scale. And when I open that, give that squint test a go. If I can get the message and I can see where the call to action is here, what I would do is I'd probably just give that green button a bit more space. I'd push it down a little bit so it's more clear. Little things like this make a big difference on the upside when it comes down to counting the return. So we'll come on to that as well in a little bit, I think. Okay, so that's the squint test, and that's how it works. It's really, really simple. I want you to make sure that you all do this from now on. Simplify. I don't want navigations at the top. I don't want buttons. I want one button with 10 words. That's 2 buttons. One button. Okay. So why would I do that? Okay, so firstly, there's not just the fact that it saves me time, but it also creates a uniform style to help make your brand more identifiable. And that's really important. So what I often like, I call it the lazy marketeer, and that's absolutely what you should be. It's not about being lazy and slapdash. It's about being as efficient as you can do. Aim for 5 minutes build time, distill the message to the user. And now we come to one of my most important points: automate everything. I'm going to talk to you about why to automate everything. So first of all, the rule of 6. And I've talked to people about this for years, so you may have heard me talk about it before. The rule of 6 basically says, if I'm going to communicate with my base about anything, so I'm putting my email together, I'm going to communicate with my base, and I've got 6 topics on it, 10 topics, whatever. Know that I am absolutely mathematically destroying my chances of getting any return. So if I want to say anything to you, I have to say it on average 6 times before you recognize I've even said it once. How crazy is that? And so I'm going to prove that point in just a moment. We've also got this concept of cadence versus spamming. What's spamming and what's cadence? I'll show you that in just a second. Tighter segmentation, vertical and horizontal. What the hell is vertical and horizontal? Actually, it's really confusing. It's the wrong way around, but I'll show you why in a second as well. And keep it simple. I think that stands for itself. You can figure that one out yourself. So first of all, let's talk about cadence versus spamming. So cadence versus spamming. So people get this confused all the time, okay? So when I talk to a lot of marketers, they often say, oh yeah, we send out an email once every 2 weeks. Well, look, Microsoft's official recommendation is 3 times a week. You should communicate with your base 3 times a week. Now, understand that rule of 6. 3 times a week means that within 2 weeks, the base should have landed, my message should have landed within the base. And understand I read 1 in 6. That means that actually I haven't seen 10 of them, or, well, I haven't seen most of them, 5 of them. So the point is, actually, when I'm sat in my ivory tower, I think I'm over penetrating the base when I'm doing it once a week. No, you're not. That's way under penetrating. And what this graph is doing is, it's just a feature within our system, and it's showing us the yellow line is email sent, okay? So the email sent is, the yellow line's up here, densely packed. Yep, lovely. For each up is when we've sent an email. And you can see here, the ups are quite high, they're quite regular. And they are all the way through. But the difference is the volume that we've sent to. And what you'll notice here is we've established a healthy, the green line, by the way, is emails opened. So what that's telling me here is we've established a healthier relationship between the open and the send by simply reducing the volume. Now, what that means is I send an email every single week, let's say, or I send an email every other day, whatever Microsoft is saying right now. And every day I've done that for 3 months. And in that 3 months, I think, right, I'm just going to stop for a second. So I'm getting an open rate of 20% each time. That's pretty good. Okay. How many of that 20% are the same 20% every single time? I mean, what you actually find is it's a large percentage. So what you'll then find is that of the 100 people I've been sending my emails to, 30 of them have never opened one of your emails, never once. So in the last 3 months, all of the new business, everything that you've done, they've never opened one of them. Now, I get certain industries, I sort of stick my head above the parapet and I only talk to you for that very short period of time, and then I ignore you for ages. I get that. But what Microsoft is saying is that if we use intelligent segmentation and we say this person should be ready, and we do talk to them in this high cadence way 2 or 3 times a week, and if they haven't engaged with us after, they say 2 weeks, we should remove them from the database. And what they're essentially doing is they're rewarding us for engagement. And what it's all about horsepower in their world. It's all about, say, so if you're spam filter like Microsoft are, and you're saying, right, okay, how do we make this better? Well, what we do is we base it on people's opinions of the email. So gone are the days where they used to just scan the email for Viagra and all that kind of stuff. What they do is they look at how your engagement stacks up. So they send a few through and they say, oh, that's pretty good. People are opening these and clicking. Wow. Send some more. Still keeps happening. Send some more. And you get a better inbox placement because of that consistency. So if I've kept that 30 people in that aren't engaging with my email, the chances are my engagement score through Microsoft's filtering isn't going to be as good. So by keeping those 30 in that have never opened an email from me, I'm damaging my quality of the other 70. Really important stuff. But I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on to a very important social experiment. Now, here's what I'm going to do. So I need some audience anticipation here. So I need to know, first of all, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and I'm going to need you to type a yes, no answer into the chat. So if you can find on your screen where that chat is, that'd be great. The last time we did this, we got a really, really great response. Okay, so by just asking the 3 questions, we got some really interesting responses back from you guys, not just me talking to you. We can learn loads together about this if we just commit to just typing in these answers. It's just yes, no. That's 3 letters or 2 letters. Better get the facts right. Questions are coming, so I just need a yes, no answer. Are you ready? If you're absolutely ready, you found the chat, you're ready for the yeses and nos. Here we go. First question is, who is working from home today? Yes or no? Off we go. Go, 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 go. Yes or no? Yes or no? Running out of time any second now, and I think we're done. Right. Okay. Of those people who are working, well, not of those people working, anybody who feels less connected to work because they're working from home. Yes, no, go, 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 go. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes. No. I can't even see it. Plus 99 now. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Whatever it is, quickly, quickly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the final point. Who's enjoying my presentation? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Go for it. Say it. Be brutal. But it has to be a yes or a no. Okay. Right. My very glamorous assistant, Ash, in the background should now be tallying up those responses and is going to give me some interesting facts. And I'm going to show you the answer isn't quite what you think it's going to be. Right. Now, but my question to you is, I've just asked that question, so I now know that each one of you is working from home or not. I know that you are feeling connected or not. I know you've enjoyed our sales presentation or not. So what would I say differently to the guys that are working at home? How would I do that? What would I do? Am I asking these questions as a marketeer, firstly? And secondly, am I doing something with that data? How could I attempt to make people feel more connected if they've openly said to me, I feel less connected? Should I let salespeople know about those? Oh, my time's up. Let salespeople know about those people that are enjoying my presentation. Yes, no. Great, great thinking to be had there. Now, time is of the essence. And actually what I want to do is I want to get to an important part of my presentation, and that is this part. This is step 2, and I'm going to skip past some of these. You can download this, don't worry, it's all there. And this is personalization. The definition of personalization is right person, right message, right time. I've said this for years, it's really important. And actually, right person, right message, right time is actually coming from not just what I think it is. So how do I know if it's the right person, right message, right time? This is where I think the most important thing that you guys should be doing is listening to what's just been said to you. So that social experiment has now, Ashley, hopefully is going to tabulate this stuff for me and he's going to give me some wonderful answers. But what you're doing, every time you send out an email, you're asking these exact same questions. Problem is, you're doing nothing with the data, or you're not even collecting that data when it comes back. So one of the things that we felt was really important about our product was the fact that we should collect everything. So when people are looking at our website, what pages are they looking at? What are they inferring to us by looking at those pages? If I've got button, man or woman, men are likely to click on the men and women are likely to click on, unless it's a dating website, but then that could go either way as well, so it doesn't matter. But the point is that you've got this information being given to you. When I'm on a holiday, if I'm a travel brand, I give more insight into that refinement now than I give to the travel agent on the phone. I am more honest with that than I am to human people. So when I think about right person, right message, right time, a lot of the right message comes from what I'm being told and being collected from the web activity. We cannot compete in a world where we're not nurturing our contacts. Okay, so you know I've got to say something 6 times. You know I have. And that is the reality. That is now, marketing is now just nurturing. If I've got a message to say and it's worth saying, I've got to nurture you through that message. And we created, obviously, the human argument. I've talked about this for years and it's an amazing thing. And it basically says, if you're going to say something 6 times, you've got to distill it down into these component parts. So you come at it in a certain way that people understand. Now, this, Ashley, have you got my stats for me and I can prove my point?
I'm still counting.
Oh my God. Well, that's a good point. All right. Answer me this then. Who answered my very, very first question?
So you had 23 replies of your very first question, which was how's everyone's day?
Okay. So here is my social experiment coming to reality. So I asked everybody, are you having a nice day? And I actually did labor that point 3 times. You probably don't remember it. And if I'd have said to you, remember the questions, you probably wouldn't have recalled that that was a question. So I didn't do a very good job of promoting that question. Now, my second questions, the 3 questions that I gave you, I announced it 6 times to you. And I announced it 6 times, coming at it from 6 different angles. I introduced what I wanted you to do. Type yes or no. I offered social proof. The last time we did this, we got some really interesting stats. I offered some gain. We'll learn together. I offered some fear. If we get it wrong, if we don't do this, we won't learn. And then I gave some logic. You just type this in, and then I gave you urgency. Get ready, get set, go. And because I did that, give me just a top line number. How many people roughly responded to the first question?
Around 100. Oh,
bingo.
Each one of those last 3 got around 100 responses.
Bingo. How to 5x. 12x in my other guide. But anyway, the point is, that was my point. And so what I've given you there is that human argument. And I wanted to demonstrate to you, without even you realizing why I've done that, that's what we as marketeers do every day to get the best out of our audience. So final point is, you've got an example in this slide where it shows you, if you were going to invite your mate to your pub, how you do it. And I'm not going to go through it because I've done it 100 million times. It's just still a numbers game, but it's not just numbers as get more and more and more. It's about working those numbers. It's about me playing with the data. It's about me understanding what's coming back in from you guys and speaking to you in a way that you can understand. But automation obviously is the key, because when I'm not doing this with automation, how can I respond to the 60 people that said they work from home, the 30 people that said they work from there? How can I do that? It becomes 3-dimensional and I haven't got time to do what I'm doing at the moment. So I need the automation to be able to do it. Artwork modification applies to everything I do. You've got to simplify it, and that's what it's all about. And the final thing, take step 4, taking the next step. I hope I didn't miss the slide that said step 3. I did cover it, but never mind. Taking the next step, and that is, understand the true cost of your campaigns. Understand accept the flaws of linear communication. So instead of breaking out into these where people go different directions, understand that shouldn't be there. Understand that we made a mistake, but then understand why products like Force 24 exist. We're UK based. We've got free training and support for life. We do wonderful, great webinars like this. We connect everybody together. It's a complete marketing suite. Seamless CRM integrations, obviously. But I'm really conscious. It actually gave me a timer, and I've overrun it by 5 minutes. I'm really sorry. But you can download all of this. So you can either download the slides by getting your smartphone out, open the camera, and zap the one on the left. Or you can physically book a demo with one of our product experts, or even me. Let's look at the draw. And you get, if you want to speak to me, you get a demo with our software, and we can talk specifically about your challenges and how you get the most out of what you wanted. But I hope that today you're going to take just one thing. And I hope that that social experiment that we did sort of opened your eyes to this point that I think I'm oversaying it, but actually you're only just hearing it. So Ash, do we have any time for questions, or have I overshot the mark?
Yeah, I mean, the whistle stop one, look, you can answer it so quickly. It was about your email point of how many emails you should send, and Fran was asking, if you have a range of products, would you only promote one product per email?
No, because okay. I don't look at this from a product point. I think of it from a user's needs perspective. Okay, so it might be that, I don't know, maybe you can or can't do this, but I don't think about it from a company view. I think about it from okay, I'm a human being. I can use 5 of your products. My grass needs mowing. You probably don't sell lawnmowers. My grass needs mowing. So what products are going to help me with my grass needing mowing? So I'm not coming at this from a linear perspective from the company, broadcasting. I'm coming at this from a perspective, how do I connect to the humans that are in my list and show them stuff that's going to get them excited, also that sits in line with what the stakeholders want me to sell. So I know what you're saying. Do I go one product, one email, one product, one email? No, I would say get the products out the email, and I would say talk about how your product suite can answer certain questions. Obviously that's a massive sweeping statement, and I can't give really deep advice at that level without knowing the specifics, but that's generally my advice. Think about it from the consumer's point of view, not the company's point of view, and then try and match it back.
Cool, that was awesome, and I particularly enjoyed the social experiment. I thought that was brilliant. That's probably the best use of a webinar I've seen since doing this, so really appreciate you sharing that with us, and the results were they speak for themselves. So look, just to close this off, obviously I want to thank Adam for his time. Brilliant speaker. There was so much feedback from that in the chat saying they enjoyed your energy, and I can see why. You're probably on about your 15th coffee today, right?
You got it.
So passing on my thanks for you. Everyone that visited, brilliant. Thank you for tuning in for our 5th webinar. We've got one left today, which starts in about 13 minutes. And we'll send you, of course, an email to join that. Just to close this off, obviously Adam's left his slide up there. If you scan a QR code by grabbing your phone out and pointing it at the screen, you'll be able to do one of 2 of those. I'll be sending out the recordings from all the presentations later next week, probably. But if you do want to book a demo and you can't be bothered to scan that QR code, put yes, please in the chat now, and I'll make sure your details are passed and Adam can set up a further call. But that just gives you the chance to do that if you don't want to scan the QR code. So look, that's my last thing. Thanks very much for your time. Adam, I'll let you go now, and I'll leave this open for the last couple of minutes for people to put their yes, please for a demo of Force 24.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.